back to Wonder of Faith. As always, I'm Anthony Bush, and today we're going to talk about another subject, one that's very personal and one I've been struggling with through time. And I thought just talking about it could be of help to you, could be of help to me. So I'm just going to put it out there. Being able to talk through things I think is beneficial because it allows me to externalize and kind of see things in context while also giving you some insight. Maybe it'll help you with whatever you're going through as well. So I'm happy to oblige. So today I want to talk about what it means to see the other person and how to come to them. And I will explain this in context. So how is it that we come to communicate and show who we are to them? This can be difficult, especially in the modern day. Especially, I'd say, for those of vigorous religious affiliation. For instance, I'm not going to lie, I'll tell you right now, I am Catholic, and that is at the very core of who I am. I do not separate my Catholic identity from my person, because that is, at the end of the day, what illumines me and what allows me to go forward, what I strive for, to be one with God. That is my main goal, and therefore the Catholic faith, that which allows me to accomplish that, moves me toward it. So it is very central to who I am. But even with its centrality, even with the orders and everything that I think a lot about, and that very much implies my person, there remains a lacking in communication for others, especially those who aren't Catholic or religious themselves, because they want the person that makes any sense. Like, I can espouse, the faith, talk about that which I think about, that which is very important to me, but that's not what they want. They want something else. They want the person, I guess. And it's not that I'm not authentic, right? Like, I'm always authentic when I'm talking about the faith. But to them, that's just something that's separate from me, and therefore is hiding something more. So the problem then becomes, what do we do when we're faced with this dilemma? Do we give in? Do we put aside the faith and try to act normal or what is expected of us? Do we instead resist? Or do we try to find a middle way? And it's a very complicated question. For me, I know I tend to become very exuberant about the faith. I naturally kind of lend myself towards defending and espousing theology and the faith because I enjoy it, firstly, and secondly because I feel like it is my duty to defend that which I love most. Like, if I'm not going to do it, no one will. So I'm going to be the one to go full force, almost not angrily, not meanly, but with a lot of vigor, with a lot of passion to it, a lot of oomph. And this can catch people off guard. It can cause escalation in a way, because in doing so, in being that, there is a lack of casualness or otherness. For me, I know I'm very heady. What I mean by that is the ideas of the perfect, the divine, the beautiful, the godly, all these things very much bring me happiness to contemplate and to try to reach to with my reason. That to think about and put that into context in itself gives me the joy of living Catholically. And I pursue them. That's what I try to do. But in doing so, by seeing that which is beyond this world, I can forget about this realm here. I can easily forget about the reality of imperfection, and that I choose that instead of facing the reality that I am a sinful person. I make mistakes, that I have imperfections that hinder me, as we all do, and so do other people. And so if I want to represent or try to be faithful to God through defending the faith, I'll forget about the person I'm talking to, rather than seeing who and what they believe. I instead take what they say and try to combat it, because I'm thinking about the faith. I'm thinking about protecting that which is beloved and most important to me. And so this problem in Orderian terms, in the terms of the orders, comes with there is a clash between doctrine and heart. Heart, which calls us to love, to see the other, to be vulnerable, to be merciful, and to live in the moment for the other and for God, comes into conflict with doctrine, which calls us to obedience, to knowledge, to reason, and to give oneself fully to the truth of faith. And when these two are both being called upon, they can grapple. So I may start to lean towards doctrine, and in the process, I no longer think about love. I weaken this part of myself in the moment so that I can focus more on doctrine and the technicality. But in fullness, what I am is the for balance. So that's what I strive to be. So in passion, which is about, it's the virtue, the aspect about identity and self-understanding, that too must play a role to moderate and see what is necessary in the time. And I think sometimes I get carried away because I'm so enthralled by the good, or wanting to be good, wanting to pursue it with everything I have. That is my ultimate goal. That is something that's very important to me, and so it is something I talk a lot about. It is something that I think a lot about, and it fully encompasses my being to pursue the good. And so we always talk about what we think about most, or that which we love most, I think. And so whenever I talk about it, it's an abstraction, right? It's a philosophical understanding, which I'm a philosophy major. I think about theology and philosophy a lot. So it's the ideas that really push me onward. But the idea is not my person. My ideas inform and illumine me, but they are not the same as actual me. And so I forget to talk about, maybe my favorite food, or that's what I struggle with, my imperfections, showing that I am not merely this person of ideas alone, but that I am indeed a person with my own sufferings, my own struggles, and things like that. And so it's hard to balance the two, because I want to so much focus on that which I love, and just focus on that joy. But I have to remember that there's a reality that is separate from that. That the good definitely permeates the universe. There's good in this world, but there's also imperfection as well, everywhere and everyone. And so it's hard for me to separate those things sometimes, because I want to embody the good, right? I don't want to make a bad joke or hurt someone's feelings. So I'm always watching myself, because I don't want to betray that which I love. But the struggle is then people start to get upset or confused because they don't see fully who you are. It's like, who are you? How am I ever going to connect to you if you're always focusing on this thing over here? And they have a point. And it's not something that I deny, but it's hard nonetheless. Sometimes I'll go so far as to defend myself from other people by using more of my understanding and philosophy to keep people at a distance, because it's like that way they can't cause conflict with me and my ideas, I guess. It's a kind of a subconscious thing. I think we all do this to a degree, right? Like we want to protect our image, or we want to protect that which we value, whether it's our family, our faith, or whatnot. But at times it becomes unnecessary for us to stop and think about it. Are we truly being who we should be to others? And I know I haven't. I know by being that very heady, ideological person that I can sometimes miss what's right in front of me. And so it's not about me changing my moral stance or being any less immoral, but it is about being open, being understanding, patient, merciful, and allowing others to be the same for me. And so that's what I want to be. That's what I want. Not only doctrine to be strong, but I want heart to be strong as well. I want them to work together, so that I don't always have to be, so direct or forceful. That I can just live the faith, and it is enough. It doesn't have to always be put into word, because in the process, sometimes we can push people away rather than bringing them toward us. And that's why when people Bible thump, which is when you just quote a verse of the Bible at people, we know it doesn't work, right? Because they're going to feel attacked. And that's not going to accomplish anything. The love of Christ is not with us if we're constantly bombarding others. And I do have a strong tendency to want to correct, right? I want things to be correct and right and good. So I will see what's not good and then try to fix it in myself and others indiscriminately. It doesn't matter. And so for me to be more patient, to take a breath and know that the world is imperfect, I am imperfect, but it is through the slow, gradual respect and growth that the good comes about. So that's what I want to do. That's what I am striving for now. That's my sub goal. To be good, yes, but to be good truly in this way, and not just in an easy way that I have formulated it within my mind. So to be fully Catholic, I know I'm going to have to be true to who Anthony is, to be faithful always, and never let anyone or anything get in the way between me and God, but to allow people into that space, into that goal with me, into that journey, so that I can understand and come to know and love others while they do the same for me. And that's basically the sum of it. You know, there's some friends right now I'm struggling with that with. I'm trying to dialogue and get to the bottom of it so that there can be understanding. And it's a work in progress. And I hope and I will work toward that, to be understanding, and to show that I am more than just this kind of pontificating person. As always, I'm Anthony Bush. That's just the gist of what I wanted to say. It's kind of something I'm working with right now, and I thought maybe saying it would help others as well. If you have any questions, comments, feel free to reach out here in Wonder of Faith. I'm Anthony Bush. I will see you next time. May you find final victory in Christ.